Hello, everyone. I'm Natasha, your host for today. If you're new here, I'd love to let you know that we upload a new English learning video every single day to help you improve your English faster and more confidently. In today's episode, you're going to boost both your English listening and speaking skills with something that's extremely important: daily life English conversations. We'll be practicing how to speak English naturally and fluently in common daily situations. Through simple examples and real-life conversations, you'll start to feel more comfortable with English sentence structure, natural expressions, and speaking flow. Whether you're ordering food, talking to a friend, making a phone call, or asking for help, these daily conversation practices will help you sound more like a native speaker. We'll also include some helpful practice exercises in between to make sure you're not just listening, but also speaking and thinking in English. So, by the end of this video, you'll feel more confident in using English in your daily routine. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the bell icon if you want to keep learning with us every day. Now get ready with your pen and notebook. And let's begin. Speaking English fluently in your everyday life is one of the most effective ways to truly master the language. It's not just about learning complex grammar rules or memorizing advanced vocabulary, but about using English in simple, real-life situations. Daily life conversations are the foundation of how native speakers use the language. These conversations help you stay connected, share ideas, and navigate the world around you. In this lesson, we will explore practical examples of how to use English in your morning routine, at a coffee shop, while shopping, and during casual conversations with friends or family. These are the types of conversations that happen every day, and being able to express yourself comfortably in these moments can greatly improve your confidence and fluency. Let's start with a typical morning at home. Imagine waking up and seeing your roommate or a family member. You might say, "Good morning. Did you sleep well?" They may respond with, "Good morning. Yes, I did. How about you?" Then you could say, "I slept okay. I think I need coffee to wake up." These are small exchanges, but they help create connection and start the day on a positive note. Such casual greetings are a big part of natural spoken English. Saying something as simple as, "Did you sleep well?" shows care and interest. These phrases may seem basic, but when used daily, they train your mind to think and respond in English without hesitation. Now, as you get ready for the day, you might ask someone, "Is it going to be cold today?" Or, "Do I need an umbrella?" These kinds of questions help you learn how to use English to talk about plans or expectations. A friend or family member might respond, "It's a bit chilly. You should wear a jacket." Or, "Yes, the forecast says it might rain later." These replies help you understand sentence structure, especially when responding to a question or giving advice. You're not just learning English, you're practicing how to live through English. Let's imagine you are in the kitchen, preparing breakfast. You might ask, "Would you like some eggs?" Or, "Do you want toast or cereal?" These are helpful when offering food or making decisions. A typical reply could be, "I'll have toast, please," or "Just coffee for me today." Learning to offer and respond politely is essential in daily conversations. It shows manners and makes your English sound more natural. If someone asks you, "Do you want sugar in your coffee?" you can say, "Yes, just a little," or "No, I like it black." These short responses are very common in English-speaking households and social settings. Now let's move into a conversation you might have at a local cafe or coffee shop. When you walk in, a server may greet you by saying, "Hi, what can I get for you?" You can respond, "I'd like a cappuccino, please," or "Can I have a medium latte?" Then the server may ask, "Would you like it hot or iced?" And you might say, "Hot, please." These interactions are repeated daily in thousands of places around the world. By practicing them, you become comfortable with ordering in English and expressing your preferences clearly. If the cashier asks, "Anything else?" and you reply, "No, that's all, thank you," you are using polite closure to end the transaction smoothly. Small conversations like this build your confidence to use English outside the classroom. Now picture that you're waiting for your coffee and you see someone you know. A natural conversation could begin like this: "Hey, I didn't know you come here." The person replies, "Yeah, I stop by here every morning on my way to work." Then you might ask, "How's your job going?" And they say, "Pretty good, just busy as usual." Conversations like these are informal and friendly, and they allow you to connect with others while practicing small talk. Learning how to keep a conversation going with simple questions and answers is one of the most important skills in real-life communication. Let's move to another daily scenario: shopping at the grocery store. Suppose you are looking for something specific and need assistance. You might approach a staff member and say, "Excuse me, where can I find the bread?" The person could reply, "It's in aisle 5, next to the milk." You then say, "Thank you very much," and they respond, "You're welcome." This interaction is short, but incredibly useful. It teaches you how to ask for help, understand directions, and show gratitude in English. Another example is asking about prices. You might say, "How much is this?" Or, "Is this on sale?" And hear replies like, "It's $5." Or, "Yes, it's buy one, get one free." Understanding and using this kind of vocabulary helps you manage everyday tasks easily. Sometimes while shopping, you might run into someone you know. A conversation could begin with, "Hey, fancy seeing you here." The person might laugh and say, "I was just picking up a few things for dinner." You could respond, "Me too. I didn't feel like cooking, so I grabbed something quick." These types of casual chats help you use English in spontaneous situations. You're not rehearsing, you're interacting naturally. And that's what fluency really is: speaking without needing to translate every word in your head. As your day continues, you may need to ask someone for directions. You might say, "Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to the post office?" A person may answer, "Sure, go straight down this road and take the second left. It's right next to the bank." You respond, "Thanks so much." And they say, "No problem. Have a great day." These exchanges help you learn how to ask and give directions in a friendly and respectful way. They are especially helpful when you travel or live in an English-speaking area. These are not complex sentences, but they teach you how to manage real situations confidently. Each time you practice these kinds of conversations, you're not only improving your English, you're training your brain to respond faster, speak more clearly, and feel more natural while talking. The key is not perfection, but consistency. Speak every day, repeat what you hear, try using a new phrase with someone. The more you use English, the more comfortable it becomes. And soon, you'll notice that you don't need to think before speaking. It just flows. That's the real power of practicing daily life English conversations. Another very common daily interaction happens on the phone. Talking on the phone in English may feel more challenging because you don't see the person's face or expressions, but practicing common phone conversations can help you feel more at ease. Imagine you're calling a friend to make plans. You start with, "Hi, how are you?" And they reply, "I'm good, thanks." "What about you?" You continue, I was thinking maybe we could have dinner together tonight. Are you free? Your friend might say, that sounds great. What time were you thinking? You reply, maybe around 7? And they agree, perfect. See you then. This phone conversation includes greetings, making plans, confirming details, and expressing enthusiasm. These kinds of short but complete exchanges prepare you for real situations where you'll need to speak English confidently. Let's shift to another daily task: cooking or preparing meals at home. Even in your kitchen, you can use English naturally. Suppose you're cooking with a friend or partner. You might say, "Can you pass me the salt?" Or, "Do we have any onions left?" The other person could say, "Yes, they're in the bottom drawer." Or, "No, we're out. Do you want me to run to the store?" You answer, "That would be great. Thanks." These conversations are casual, but they teach you how to ask for help, answer questions, and offer assistance, all in English. It's easy to practice such conversations every day while doing normal activities. The more you do, the more fluent and comfortable you become. Now let's talk about conversations at work or in school. These environments often involve routine questions and polite responses. Imagine you're at work and your coworker asks, "Did you finish the report?" You respond, "Not yet." "I'm still working on it. I'll send it by the end of the day." Or maybe you ask your colleague, "Do you have a minute to help me with something?" And they respond, "Sure, what do you need?" These short exchanges are typical in professional settings. They involve clarity, politeness, and cooperation. Learning the rhythm of these phrases helps you sound more professional and organized in English-speaking workplaces. In school, you might talk with a classmate or a teacher. A student might say, "Did you understand the assignment?" And the other could reply, "A little. I think we have to write a summary of the article." Or you might ask the teacher, "Could you explain that again, please?" And the teacher replies, "Of course. Let me go over it one more time." These examples show how to ask for clarification, check understanding, and show respect during a conversation. School and work are perfect places to practice clear and helpful English that supports communication and teamwork. Now let's imagine a conversation when you're outside, maybe waiting for a bus or walking in the park. Someone might say, "Nice weather today, isn't it?" And you could respond, "Yes, it's beautiful, not too hot, not too cold." This type of small talk is very common in English-speaking countries. People often talk about the weather, their pets, or the news to start a friendly conversation. You could say, "Do you come to this park often?" Or, "I love walking here in the evenings." These comments help build friendly connections and show confidence in using English casually. At the bus stop, you might ask someone, "Excuse me, do you know what time the next bus comes?" They may reply, "I think it's at 3:45, but sometimes it's a bit late." You say, "Thanks for the info." These conversations might seem small, but they matter. They give you a chance to practice English with strangers, which is a big step toward fluency. Being able to start and continue a short conversation is a powerful skill, especially when you're living in an English-speaking environment. Let's go through another example that happens often: going to the doctor. This is a situation where clear communication in English is important. You check in at the clinic and say, "Hello, I have an appointment at 10. The receptionist asks, "What's your name?" And you reply, "It's Sarah Khan." They respond, "Okay, please have a seat. The doctor will see you shortly." Later, when you talk to the doctor, they might ask, "What seems to be the problem today?" You answer, "I've had a headache for 2 days." They may ask more questions like, "Do you have any other symptoms?" And you reply, "Just a slight fever and a sore throat." These conversations help you explain how you feel and receive instructions. Practicing them makes you more prepared and less nervous when you're actually in the situation. Next, imagine going to the bank. You might say, "Hi, I'd like to open a new account." The banker replies, "Of course." "May I see your ID?" You give them your ID, and they ask, "Do you want a savings account or a checking account?" You respond, "I think a checking account will work for me." These formal conversations are also important for daily life. They help you manage your money, ask questions, and understand services in English. The more you learn to express your needs in English, the more independent and confident you become. Let's look at a short conversation that might happen when you go out to eat at a restaurant. The server says, "Hi, welcome. Table for one?" And you respond, "Yes, just me." They lead you to your table and give you a menu. Later, they come back and ask, "Are you ready to order?" You say, "Yes, I'll have the grilled chicken with rice, please." The server responds, "Would you like anything to drink?" And you answer, "Just water, thank you." These are simple but essential parts of daily communication. Being able to order food, ask questions about the menu, and respond politely shows real-life fluency. Now think about the conversation when you're paying. The server may say, "Would you like the bill?" And you respond, "Yes, please." They return and say, "Here you go." And you reply, "Thanks. Can I pay by card?" They respond, "Yes, of course." You pay, then say, "Thank you. The food was great." And they might say, "We're glad you enjoyed it. Have a nice day." This closing interaction is important. It ends the conversation on a friendly and polite note. These types of exchanges teach you how to use everyday manners and expressions in real-world situations. In all these examples, the key is practice. Practicing daily conversations helps you learn how to start, continue, and finish interactions in a natural way. It teaches you how to ask questions, respond politely, give information, and share opinions. More importantly, it helps you build confidence in your speaking skills. Fluency comes from using English consistently, not just studying it. That's why practicing conversations that reflect real life is one of the best methods to improve your English quickly and effectively. Let's now explore conversations that happen in the evening. After a long day, many people spend time relaxing, cooking, or catching up with loved ones. These are perfect moments to use English in a natural, relaxed way. Suppose you arrive home and greet your family member by saying, "Hey, how was your day?" They might respond, "It was good, just a bit tiring. How about yours?" You reply, "Same here." Work was busy, but I'm glad to be home now. This short conversation is common, and it helps you express emotions and share daily experiences. These expressions like, "How was your day?" and "I'm glad to be home" are used frequently and create meaningful connections. Later, you may want to talk about dinner. You might ask, "What do you feel like eating tonight?" The other person could say, "Maybe something simple, like pasta." You then suggest, "Great. I'll start boiling the water." And they might reply, "Thanks. I'll chop the vegetables." This type of teamwork and conversation while cooking is not only practical, but also a great chance to improve your English speaking in a relaxed setting. Talking about tasks, food, or plans helps you become more comfortable using verbs and sentence structures naturally. After dinner, you might sit down to watch a movie. You ask, "What should we watch tonight?" And your friend answers, "I heard there's a new comedy on Netflix. Want to try it?" You agree, "Sure, I could use a good laugh." These small exchanges are very typical in daily life. Being able to talk casually about preferences and entertainment is an important skill. You might also comment on the movie by saying, "That was funnier than I expected," or "The ending was really surprising." Learning to express your opinions is an essential part of natural conversation in English. Now, let's move to conversations you might have online or over text. In today's world, many conversations happen through messaging. These are just as valuable for practicing English. For example, you might text your friend, "Hey, are you free this weekend?" And they respond, "I think so. Why?" "What's up?" You write, "I was thinking we could go hiking or maybe see a movie." They reply, "Sounds fun. Let's decide by Friday." This back and forth texting helps you practice informal English, learn how to write concisely, and understand common short phrases. It also trains your brain to switch between reading and writing quickly. If you are texting someone about work or study, you may say, "Just checking if we have a meeting tomorrow." And they could reply, "Yes, it's at 10 a.m. Don't forget to bring your notes." You respond, "Thanks for the reminder. See you then." This type of professional text is short, clear, and polite. Practicing messages like these will help you be more confident when texting or emailing in English for professional reasons. Whether it's casual or formal, writing in English daily will improve both your speaking and comprehension skills. Let's talk about weekend plans now. Conversations about plans are common and helpful to learn. You might ask, "Do you have any plans this weekend?" And hear responses like, "Not yet. I might just relax." Or, "I'm planning to visit my cousin." Then you say, "If you're free on Sunday, we could grab lunch." And they say, "That sounds nice. Let's do it." These types of conversations involve suggestions, invitations, and responses. Knowing how to make plans and react to them helps you feel more involved in daily social life. Another important type of conversation happens when someone needs help. Suppose a friend says, "Can you help me move this table?" And you respond, "Sure. Let me grab one side." Or someone says, "I'm having trouble with this app." And you reply, "Let me take a look." Offering help and solving problems using English teaches you how to be supportive and cooperative. You also learn useful verbs like grab, fix, help, lift, and open. These are essential in everyday speaking and useful in both casual and work settings. There are also conversations when things go wrong, and you need to express concern. For example, if someone says, "I lost my wallet," you might say, "Oh no, do you remember where you last had it?" Or, "Let's retrace your steps." Helping someone in a stressful situation in English allows you to use comforting words and show empathy. You may say, "Don't worry, we'll find it," or, "Let's call the place where you were earlier." These expressions are not only helpful, but also show emotional intelligence in your communication. Sometimes you might need to apologize or respond to one. A typical conversation could go like this: "I'm sorry I forgot to reply to your message." The other person says, "It's okay. I know you were busy." You might add, "Thanks for understanding. I didn't mean to ignore you." This teaches you how to say sorry sincerely and how to respond politely. Apologizing in English involves more than just saying sorry. It includes tone, reason, and expression of feelings. Practicing these conversations makes you more fluent and emotionally aware in different contexts. Another useful category is expressing likes and dislikes. You might say, "I really enjoy listening to music when I cook," or, "I'm not a fan of horror movies." If someone asks, "Do you like spicy food?" you could say, "A little." Not too spicy, though. These short sentences help you talk about your preferences. This is especially helpful in social situations when you want to share your opinions, make connections, or just express who you are. Being able to describe what you enjoy and what you don't is a vital part of self-expression in English. Let's also cover giving compliments and showing appreciation. For example, you might say, "I love your dress. It looks great on you." Or, "Thanks for helping me today. I really appreciate it." Compliments make conversations more positive and friendly. In return, someone might say, "Thanks. That means a lot." Or, "No problem. Happy to help." These types of phrases strengthen relationships and help you learn how to be polite and kind in English. They are a great way to make others feel good while practicing smooth, positive conversations. When it comes to ending conversations, there are several common phrases used to close naturally. If you're finishing a chat, you might say, "It was great talking to you," or, "I have to go now, but let's catch up soon." The other person might respond, "Sure, talk to you later," or "Take care." These phrases help you leave the conversation respectfully and leave a good impression. Closing a conversation well is just as important as starting one. Practicing both opening and closing sentences will help you manage conversations with ease in all kinds of situations. Now, let's turn our attention to conversations that happen in shops or at the mall. These situations are part of everyday life, and learning how to interact politely and confidently in English can be very helpful. Suppose you walk into a clothing store. A store assistant approaches and says, "Hi there, can I help you find anything?" You might respond, "Yes, I'm looking for a pair of jeans." They may ask, "What size do you wear?" And you reply, "I usually wear a medium, but I'm not sure." The assistant might say, "Let me grab a couple of options for you to try on." You can respond, "That would be great. Thank you." In this short exchange, you are expressing what you need, giving information, and responding politely. These conversations also teach you vocabulary related to shopping and clothing, which is very useful for daily life. When you are ready to pay, you go to the cashier and say, "Hi, I'd like to pay for these." The cashier responds, "Sure. Would you like to pay by card or cash?" You say, "Card, please." Then the cashier says, "Would you like a receipt?" And you respond, "Yes, please." These are some of the most frequently used phrases in shops, and they help you practice polite and functional English in a public setting. Every time you go shopping, try using English. These simple, repeated actions are powerful tools for building fluency. Next, let's look at daily life conversations around transportation and travel. Whether you are taking a taxi, a bus, or going through an airport, you will need to communicate in English. Imagine you're getting into a taxi and you say, "Hi, can you take me to Central Park?" The driver replies, "Sure, hop in." You then ask, "How long will it take?" And the driver says, "About 20 minutes, depending on traffic." After reaching your destination, you say, "How much is it?" And the driver replies, $15. You hand the money and say, "Keep the change. Thank you." These interactions help you practice clear and quick English, especially in new or busy environments. If you're using public transportation, such as a bus or subway, conversations might include asking for information. You might ask someone, "Excuse me, does this bus go to the city center?" And they respond, "Yes, it does. You need to get off at the 5th stop." Or maybe you're at a train station and say, "Where can I buy a ticket to New York?" And someone replies, "Over there, at counter number 2. These types of conversations allow you to understand directions, follow instructions, and complete tasks confidently in English. Now, let's imagine a situation at the airport. You check in at the counter and say, "Good morning, I have a flight to London." The staff member replies, May I see your passport, please? You hand it over, and they ask, do you have any luggage to check in? You respond, yes, one suitcase. They say, all right, your gate number is 12A. Boarding starts at 9:30. You reply, thank you very much. These formal conversations require you to be polite and accurate with your responses. Practicing them will help you feel more prepared when traveling internationally. Let's move on to conversations related to emergencies or unexpected problems. It's important to know how to explain problems or ask for help in English. Imagine you're at a hotel and something isn't working. You call the front desk and say, hi, the air conditioning in my room isn't working properly. The receptionist replies, I'm sorry to hear that. We'll send someone to fix it right away. You respond, thank you. I appreciate it. Being able to report issues and respond politely helps you manage difficult situations with calm and clarity. In another situation, you lose your phone and need help. You might say, excuse me, I think I lost my phone in the restaurant. Has anyone turned one in? The staff member checks and replies, yes, someone found a phone. Can you describe it? You say, it's a black phone with a blue case. They check and say, yes, here it is. You respond, thank you so much. These interactions show how to stay calm, explain a situation, and respond appropriately. This kind of conversation also strengthens your ability to describe objects and express concern. Another example is calling emergency services. If you ever need to call for help, you might say, hello, I need an ambulance. Someone has fainted. The dispatcher may ask, what is your location? And you reply, we're at the corner of Main Street and 5th Avenue. They respond, help is on the way. Stay on the line. Although we hope you never need to use this type of conversation, being prepared can make a huge difference. These kinds of interactions require clear and direct English that communicates urgency and facts. Now, let's consider conversations about hobbies and interests. Talking about what you enjoy doing in your free time is one of the best ways to connect with others. In English, you might say, I love painting. It helps me relax. Or, I enjoy reading mystery novels. If someone asks, what do you like to do on weekends? You could reply, I usually go hiking or spend time with my family. These conversations are excellent for expanding your vocabulary around activities, emotions, and preferences. They also help you develop your personality in English and engage in more meaningful conversations. You might also discuss future plans with others. Someone may ask, do you have any plans for the holidays? And you reply, yes, I'm planning to visit my grandparents. Or you may say, I'm thinking of taking a short trip to the beach. Being able to express your intentions and ideas about the future is a key part of fluency. It allows you to talk about goals, make suggestions, and discuss possibilities. You can also ask questions like, where are you going for vacation? Or, have you booked your tickets yet? These types of conversations help you plan and share your thoughts in English. Let's not forget about expressing emotions and feelings. Talking about how you feel helps build deeper connections. You might say, I'm feeling a bit tired today, or I'm really happy with how my presentation went. If a friend says, I'm feeling a little stressed, you can respond, is there anything I can do to help? These expressions teach you how to recognize and respond to emotions. They also help you become more sensitive and supportive in your communication. Using emotional language properly is a powerful part of English fluency. that adds warmth and depth to your conversations. Lastly, let's talk about reflection and gratitude. At the end of the day, you might say, "It's been a long day, but I'm proud of what I got done." Or, "I'm grateful for the people around me." Talking about your experiences in this way helps you practice the past tense and express appreciation. You might also say to a friend or family member, "Thanks for being there today. It meant a lot." These sentences may seem simple, but they carry strong emotional value and help you practice meaningful English. Daily reflection is a wonderful habit for improving both your language and your mindset. Let's now explore daily life English conversations in community settings, such as the library, post office, or pharmacy. These places might not be part of your routine every day, but they are common enough to make practicing English for these situations valuable. Imagine going to a library to borrow a book. You walk up to the counter and say, "Hi, I'd like to check out this book, please." The librarian replies, "Sure, do you have your library card with you?" You respond, "Yes, here it is." The librarian scans your card and says, "This book is due back in 2 weeks." You reply, "Thank you. Have a nice day." These short, polite exchanges help you navigate public services using English and make it easier to ask questions, follow rules, and show appreciation. At the post office, the conversation might begin with you saying, "Hello, I'd like to send this package to Canada." The staff member asks, "Do you want standard or express delivery?" You respond, "Standard is fine. How much will it cost?" The staff checks and says, "That will be $12. You reply, "Okay, here you go." And they give you a receipt while saying, "It should arrive in 7 to 10 business days." You finish by saying, "Thanks very much." These types of conversations teach you how to handle transactions and understand service-related vocabulary, which are helpful when communicating in any English-speaking environment. Now let's visit the pharmacy. You approach the counter and say, "Hi, I'm here to pick up a prescription." The pharmacist may ask, "What's the name on the prescription?" You give your name, and they say, "Okay, I found it. Do you have any questions about the medication?" You might reply, "Yes. How often should I take it?" The pharmacist says, "Take 1 tablet every 8 hours with food." You respond, "Got it." Thank you again. This teaches you how to ask for health-related information and follow instructions. Being able to ask and answer questions clearly in such situations is very important and gives you confidence in managing your health and well-being in English. Let's move on to conversations with neighbors or community members. Suppose you live in an apartment building and run into your neighbor in the hallway. You say, "Hi, how's it going?" They smile and respond, "Pretty good, thanks. Just got back from work." You ask, "How was your day?" And they say, "It was busy, but I'm glad it's over." You say, "Same here. Have a good evening." These small, friendly exchanges might not seem like much, but they create a sense of community and help you feel more connected while practicing English in a relaxed, casual way. Now imagine you need to ask a neighbor for help. You knock on the door and say, "Hi, sorry to bother you, but could I borrow your screwdriver for a few minutes?" The neighbor says, "Sure, no problem. Let me grab it for you." You respond, "Thanks so much. I'll return it soon." Later, when you return it, you say, "Thanks again. That really helped." The neighbor replies, "You're welcome anytime." These conversations teach you how to make polite requests, offer gratitude, and interact respectfully with people in your community. They build your language confidence in friendly, helpful situations. Let's talk about another area of daily life that many people engage in: exercise and fitness. Suppose you go to a gym for the first time. At the front desk, you say, "Hi, I'd like to sign up for a membership." The staff replies, "Sure, we have monthly and yearly plans. Which one would you prefer?" You say, "I'll start with the monthly plan." Then they ask, "Would you like access to group classes as well?" And you reply, "Yes, I'd like to try the yoga class." These conversations are helpful for navigating memberships, schedules, and services. Inside the gym, you might talk to a trainer. They ask, "Is this your first time working out?" And you respond, "Yes, I'm just starting." The trainer might say, "Let's start with some light exercises today and build up gradually." You respond, "That sounds good. Thanks for helping me." These sentences help you express your level, ask questions, and follow instructions. Whether you're at a gym, swimming class, or joining a fitness group, English helps you communicate your needs and goals effectively. Let's imagine you're traveling with a friend in a new city. You're walking around and want to stop for lunch. You say, "I'm getting hungry. Do you want to eat somewhere?" Your friend says, "Yeah, let's look for a place." You find a restaurant and say, "This place looks good. Want to try it?" They agree, "Sure, let's check it out." These conversations involve expressing preferences and making group decisions. Inside the restaurant, the host says, "Table for two?" And you say, "Yes, please." These moments are real, frequent, and incredibly useful for practicing natural English. While waiting for food, you might look at the menu and say, "I think I'll get the grilled chicken salad." Your friend might respond, "I'm going for the cheeseburger." You then say, "Let's share some fries too." These types of conversations about food choices, sharing, and decision-making give you useful vocabulary and sentence structure. When the server comes to take your order, you say, "I'd like the grilled chicken salad, please, and we'll also have a side of fries." These simple sentences help you be clear, polite, and confident in ordering meals in English. When the meal is over and the server asks, "Would you like any dessert?" you can respond, "No, thank you. Just the check, please." When you get the check, you say, "Can I pay by card?" And the server says, "Yes, that's fine." These final exchanges complete the interaction in a professional and polite way. Using English confidently during dining experiences makes your conversation skills more complete and well-rounded. Let's now consider another important area, talking about goals and routines. Suppose you're chatting with a friend and they ask, "What are your goals for this year?" You respond, "I want to improve my English and read more books." They say, "That's a great idea. I want to exercise more and eat healthier." These types of conversations allow you to share personal goals, encourage others, and learn how to use motivational language in English. You can also talk about your routine by saying, "I usually wake up at 6 a.m., do some stretching, and then have breakfast." The other person might say, "That sounds like a productive start to the day." This helps you build your ability to talk about schedules and habits. You may also discuss productivity and learning. For example, someone might ask, "How do you stay focused while studying?" And you answer, "I try to keep my phone away and study in short sessions." Or someone might say, "I've been learning English by watching videos and reading books." And you reply, "That's great. I do that too. It really helps." Sharing techniques, talking about study methods, and exchanging ideas are great ways to use English actively and meaningfully. These daily life situations, whether in your neighborhood, at the gym, in a restaurant, or during travel, offer endless opportunities to speak, listen, and respond in English. When you focus on practicing these kinds of conversations regularly, your brain starts to think in English, and you stop translating from your native language. The more often you practice in real-world situations, the faster your fluency will grow. Every conversation, no matter how small, becomes a chance to learn and become more confident. Let's now explore the world of digital communication, an area where we all spend a lot of time. Whether you're chatting with friends online, emailing a coworker, or participating in a virtual meeting, you're using English in a modern, essential way. For instance, when chatting on social media, someone might send you a message saying, "Hey, how's your day going?" And you respond, "Pretty good. Just finished work. What about you?" They might say, "Same here. I'm so tired." You can continue. "I know the feeling. Let's catch up this weekend." These quick, informal messages are part of daily interaction for many people. They help you build comfort with casual phrases, contractions, and responses that reflect how English is used in real-time conversations. When it comes to email, conversations tend to be a little more formal. Suppose you are writing to your manager. You might begin with, "Dear Mr. Davis, I hope you're doing well." Then continue. "I wanted to check if the meeting is still scheduled for Thursday at 2 p.m. The manager replies, "Yes, the meeting is confirmed. Let me know if you have any questions." You write back, "Thanks for confirming. I'll be ready with the presentation." These exchanges help you practice professional tone, sentence structure, and respectful communication. Writing emails regularly in English strengthens your grammar, clarity, and understanding of formal expressions. Now let's imagine participating in an online meeting. At the beginning, you may say, "Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me clearly?" A colleague might respond, "Yes, we can hear you fine." You continue, "Great, let's get started with today's agenda." Later in the meeting, you might say, "I'd like to add something to what Maria just said," or, "Could you repeat that last point?" At the end, you say, "Thanks for your time, everyone. Let's follow up next week." These examples reflect how English is used in professional and organized settings. Practicing these helps you become a more effective communicator, especially in remote or business environments. Let's return to more casual, personal conversations, the kind that often take place in the evening when people have time to unwind and reflect. You might be sitting with a family member and say, "Did anything interesting happen today?" They respond, "Not really. It was a pretty normal day. What about you?" You reply, "I had a few meetings, but nothing too stressful." Then they say, "It's nice to relax now." You answer, "Yes, I really needed this break." These moments of calm, after a busy day, offer the chance to share feelings and connect with others, while using clear, easy English. It also helps you practice speaking in the past tense and discussing events naturally. During such moments, you might also make small plans or decisions for the next day. You might say, "Should we go grocery shopping tomorrow morning?" The other person says, "That works. What do we need?" You answer, "Milk, eggs, vegetables, and some fruit." They reply, "Okay, let's make a list so we don't forget anything." This kind of conversation teaches vocabulary for planning and making suggestions. It also helps you build fluency through simple questions and answers that feel smooth and purposeful. Another common area for daily English use is housework and chores. Imagine saying, "Can you help me fold the laundry?" The other person says, "Sure, just give me 5 minutes." You respond, "Thanks. I'll start with the shirts." While cleaning, you might say, "Let's vacuum the living room next." And they reply, "Good idea. I'll get the vacuum cleaner." Talking about chores may seem basic, but it teaches verbs and vocabulary that you use regularly. The more you use them in real-life tasks, the more natural they become in your speech. Now let's imagine you're planning a weekend trip. You might say, I was thinking of going to the mountains this Saturday. Your friend responds, That sounds fun. How long is the drive? You say, About 3 hours. We can leave early in the morning. They say, Should we pack snacks and water? And you reply, Yes, and maybe some extra clothes, just in case it gets cold. This kind of conversation teaches how to plan ahead, express ideas, and consider different options. It's perfect for practicing the future tense and learning how to prepare for real activities while using English in a practical way. When you return from a trip or event, it's also a great opportunity to practice describing your experience. You might say, The view from the top of the mountain was amazing. And your friend replies, I can imagine. Did you take any photos? You answer, Yes, I got some great shots of the sunset. They ask, Was it crowded? And you say, A little, but it was peaceful overall. This conversation uses past tense, descriptive language, and common questions about experiences. Describing events, vacations, or special moments is a fantastic way to build your storytelling skills in English. Let's also think about emotional support conversations, moments when someone needs encouragement or a kind word. Suppose your friend says, I've been feeling really down lately. You respond, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you want to talk about it? They say, I just feel stuck and unmotivated. You reply, That's completely okay. We all go through tough times. I'm here for you. These types of conversations teach empathy, emotional language, and supportive expressions in English. They also help you grow as a person who can comfort others using soft, meaningful words. You might also offer advice during such times. Your friend says, I don't know what to do next. You could say, Maybe take a break and do something you enjoy. It can help clear your mind. They say, Thanks, that's actually a good idea. Offering advice, even simple suggestions, helps you practice conditionals, polite tone, and problem-solving language. These skills are important in both personal and professional life. Now imagine talking about special occasions like birthdays, holidays, or celebrations. You might say, Tomorrow is my sister's birthday. I want to get her something nice. A friend says, How about a book? She loves reading. You respond, That's a great idea. I'll check the bookstore after work. Talking about holidays, you could say, We usually visit our grandparents during New Year's. Someone replies, That sounds lovely. Do you have any family traditions? You answer, Yes, we cook together and play games. These types of conversations add warmth and cultural context to your English use. Before ending the day, you might say to your loved ones, Good night, sleep well. They might say, Good night, sweet dreams. These small, caring exchanges may seem simple, but they are meaningful. They show affection and comfort. They are also great phrases to practice in real time, especially with family or close friends. Saying goodnight, offering well wishes, or sharing kind words is part of emotional communication that builds stronger relationships and makes your English feel alive and real. By including these moments, whether you're online, relaxing at home, planning something new, or comforting someone, you continue to use English as a real, living language, not as something you memorize for a test, but as a way to connect, express, and grow. Every sentence you speak or write in English becomes a step closer to fluency. All of these conversations, no matter how short or simple, help you become the kind of English speaker who sounds natural, confident, and friendly. As we come to the final part of this practice session, Let's review and reinforce how important daily conversations are in building your English fluency. Every small interaction, whether it's at home, at work, online, or in public, helps shape the way you speak, listen, and understand English. What makes these conversations powerful is not just the vocabulary or grammar you use, but how naturally they flow from one situation to another. When you stop thinking in your native language and begin responding directly in English, that's when true progress begins. It doesn't require complicated words or long speeches. It just requires consistency, patience, and everyday practice. Let's go through a few final practice examples to bring together all that you've learned. Imagine you're planning a weekend with a friend. You say, "Hey, do you want to do something fun this weekend?" And your friend replies, "Sure." What do you have in mind? You respond, "Maybe we can go to the beach or check out the new cafe downtown." Your friend says, "I'd love to try that cafe. I've heard it's great." You continue, "Perfect. Let's meet at 2 on Saturday." And they agree, "Sounds like a plan." In this short conversation, you've practiced making suggestions, sharing opinions, and confirming plans. All important skills for real-life fluency. Now let's imagine another situation where you're giving someone directions. Someone asks you, "Excuse me, how do I get to the train station from here?" And you respond, "Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left at the traffic light. The station will be on your right." They say, "Thanks a lot." And you reply, "You're welcome. Have a good day." This exchange teaches you how to give clear instructions and respond politely. Skills that are especially useful in cities or when helping tourists. It also builds your ability to describe locations and use basic directional phrases naturally. Next, picture a conversation with a delivery person. The person arrives and says, "Hi, I have a package for you." You respond, "Thank you. Do I need to sign anything?" They say, "Yes, right here." And you sign. You add, "Thanks. Have a good day." And they say, "You too." These quick exchanges happen often in daily life, and practicing them builds fluency in a very practical way. You learn how to ask simple questions, respond clearly, and show politeness. Let's now imagine you're in a bookstore. You walk in and say to the staff, "Hi, do you have any books on learning English?" They reply, "Yes, they're in the second aisle on the left." You say, "Thanks. Do you have any recommendations?" And they respond, "This one is very popular among beginners." You say, "Great, I'll take it." This conversation gives you practice with asking for help, using specific vocabulary, and understanding suggestions. It also gives you a way to feel more confident in public places when speaking English. Another very realistic daily conversation happens when you're talking to your child, younger sibling, or a student. You might say, "Have you done your homework yet?" And they reply, "Not yet. I'm doing it now." You ask, "Do you need help with anything?" And they say, "Yes, I'm stuck on this math problem." You respond, "Let's look at it together." These interactions help you use everyday expressions, ask and answer questions, and practice using helpful, supportive language. Now, let's consider a conversation where you want to share exciting news. You say, "Guess what? I got a new job." And your friend responds, "Wow, congratulations! That's amazing." You reply, "Thanks. I start next Monday." They ask, "What will you be doing?" And you say, "I'll be working as a customer support representative." These conversations are exciting, personal, and full of energy. They help you express your emotions, describe changes in your life, and respond to others with enthusiasm. Sometimes conversations can involve giving opinions or joining discussions. For example, You might be watching a movie with friends and say, "I didn't like the ending. It felt too rushed." Your friend says, "Really? I thought it was perfect. It kept me guessing." You reply, "Maybe, but I wish they had explained more." These opinion-based exchanges allow you to use more expressive language, compare ideas, and explore differences respectfully. Being able to agree, disagree, or offer different viewpoints in English makes your conversations more dynamic and real. You might also be involved in situations where you need to make polite complaints. Suppose you're at a restaurant and your food is too cold. You call the server and say, "Excuse me, my food is cold. Could you please warm it up?" They respond, "I'm sorry about that. I'll take care of it right away." You say, "Thank you." Later, when the food returns, you say, "This is much better. Thanks again." These types of conversations show how to stay polite, even when things go wrong. You practice using calm, respectful language to express dissatisfaction and appreciation. Another useful practice example includes talking to someone who speaks English as a second language. Like you do, suppose you meet a fellow learner and say, "How long have you been learning English?" They answer, "About a year. What about you?" You say, "2 years now. I'm still working on my fluency." They respond, "Same here. I practice every day by watching videos and reading." You say, "That's a good method. I do shadowing practice too." These conversations are encouraging, honest, and helpful. They remind you that you're not alone, and that daily practice really makes a difference. In your own home, you can create conversations with yourself to build confidence. You might stand in front of the mirror and say, "Today I'm going to work on my pronunciation," or "Let me describe what I see in the kitchen." Even when you don't have someone to talk to, practicing aloud is an effective method. You can narrate your actions by saying, "Now I'm washing the dishes," or "I'm preparing breakfast with eggs and toast." These spoken sentences may seem small, but over time, they help you form natural English habits. Lastly, it's important to reflect on your journey. You can say to yourself, "I've learned so much today. My English is getting better." Or, "I made a mistake earlier, but I corrected it." That's progress. Encouraging yourself in English builds not only your language skills, but also your motivation. It helps you stay focused, especially when improvement feels slow. Remember, every conversation is practice, and every day is a step forward. No matter your level, consistent effort is what transforms you into a fluent English speaker. Now, before we end, let's do one final quick practice. Imagine this routine. You wake up and say, "Good morning. It's time to start the day." You go to the kitchen and say, "I'll make some coffee first." While getting dressed, you say, "I think I'll wear the blue shirt today." Then you prepare to go out and say, "Let me grab my keys and wallet." These sentences, said aloud or even silently in your head, train your brain to think in English. This is the best daily practice, talking to yourself in English as you live your life. No books, no stress, just using the language every moment you can. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today and practicing your English. I hope these daily life conversations helped you feel more confident and ready to use English in your everyday routine. Remember, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss a new lesson. We upload videos every day to help you improve faster. Also, let me know in the comments how you practice English daily or what conversation topics you want to see next. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and I'll see you in the next video.